As an avid reader, I'm always on the hunt for that next 5-star read. But what really makes a book 5 stars? I can't really answer that question for anybody, but for myself, that only takes 3 things. The best characters, excellent prose, and an amazing plot. I really don't need anything more than that. In today's video, I picked 5 novels that I think will hit all 3 of those markers. And we're gonna start with none other than one of my favorite authors of all time. Conroy. Beach music. Without further ado, roll the montage. Oh, Pat Conroy and his frickin' beach music. I actually started this book in the middle of May, believe it or not. It took me so long to read this novel because I didn't want to rush through it. I wanted to take my time, soak it in, eat every single word up. Because with an author like Pat Conroy, he just immerses you in the story. And beach music has to be the most harrowing book of his that I've read yet. I mean, he covered all of his bases with this one. The Holocaust, the Vietnam War, grief, bad friends, bad family, losing a wife. I mean, you name it, this book has it. But at the same time, I do feel like this is Conroy's most tender novel because the subjects that he does tackle, he does with such love and such care that you can't help but be moved. After nearly 2 months of reading this book, I finished Beach Music. Beach Music by Pat Conroy is a book that I don't even know if I have the words enough to express how much I thoroughly fell in love with this. Pat Conroy has a way with his words that just seem to transport me to another place and another time like no author can. He's at times so irresistibly whimsical, and then other times he's so thought-provokingly tender, and then sometimes he's brutally violent. But then over the surface of all of it, it's all eloquently written, presented to you, the reader, in a way that is so unmatched. Like no one else is on this man's level. But oh my goodness, I'm so glad I took such a long time to read this book. It took nearly 2 months, and usually that only takes me, I don't know, it takes me like an hour, not an hour, what am I saying, what? Usually it takes me about a month to read something that's like 1,000+ pages, but this took me 2 months, and this isn't even 800. Because there was so much meat and so much stuff to digest, I needed to take my time because he somehow he balances these things, the Holocaust and the Vietnam War and the countercultural movements in the late 60s, early 70s. But on top of that, we're also following yet another saga about a family that's torn in their relationships with each other, also a friend group that's torn in relationship with each other. There's so many things to this novel that make it so incredible. Obviously, it's a 5-star book. Obviously. I didn't take so long because I was having trouble with it, and I didn't take so long because I wasn't enjoying it. I took my time because Pat Conroy deserves your attention, and it always pays off. It has everything that I look for in a 5-star novel. Insanely good characters. Characters that I can resonate with, characters that I can understand, but also characters that I can see changing as we go. Prose that is just so unbelievably beautiful. And then, of course, the story. The story is so breathtakingly beautiful. Anybody who picks this book up and gives it the chance that it deserves, I think you'll find one of your favorite books of all time. What an excellent book to start this challenge. But I have started book 2. Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio. Can you believe it? Sun Eater is finally making an appearance on this channel. I originally tried to film this video a couple months ago, and I read the first book, Empire of Silence. I don't know what it was. I just felt unsatisfied with the filming and the production of the first attempt at this video that I thought, you know what? Let's save it for a rainy day. The first book in the Sun Eater series was a book that I've tried multiple times, and I don't think it was the right timing. Finally locking in and going, this book is absolutely insane. I knew it's like Howling Dark is going to be even better. 5-star potential better? We're going to find out. I am already over 100 pages in. Dude, the beginning of this book is wild. It has everything that I was hoping Rocchio would deliver post-haste upon re-entering this world, and he has not let me down. I'm so thoroughly impressed already, but it's only just begun. Without further ado, I think so. Okay, we have to talk. We gotta talk about some stuff. What's going on with this book, man? I'm hooked. This is so exciting. I'm like 30%, I think. What sucks is that I can't tell you too much about this book because, well, it's a sequel. For those of you who've read it, Vorgosos, I thought the end of Empire of Silence, book 1, the thing that they go off planet to in an attempt to find, I thought it would take the entirety of Howling Dark to get there, to do what they gotta do. I didn't expect finding it this early. And this guy, this fetching guy right here, take a good look. Yeah, this freak? That was one of the best conversations I've read in literature, period. Christopher Rocchio is a genius. Dialogue is always on point. His inner monologue with Marlowe is so well thought out. I love his prose, and the story is just so interesting. Like every single chapter, he has something new for me to just mull over and think about, add something to the plot where I'm like, dang, this is a good story. So far, is it 5-star potential? You know, I don't know. I don't tend to give books and series 5 stars for some reason, even though I've done it plenty of times. It feels more like the series itself is the thing that deserves the rating instead of the singular book. Right now, it's got all the sauce and the juices that I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? A perfect cocktail of science fiction. Like, this is the kind of sci-fi that I like to read. I need to show you something. You see that wagon? Yeah, my wife and I went to IKEA today. Here's why. Our bookshelves, you know, these lovely things. Do you notice anything about them? Like the fact that there's a whole ceiling up there and the top of it only comes right here? Well, we bought some extensions. We only bought one set of extensions because here's what we're thinking. We think we could take it all the way to the ceiling. We think the dimensions are there. The dream is to get it to the ceiling. That would be sick. But if we can't, we will settle with one more row, one more layer. But guys, we're out of space. We're out of space. We were out of space when I built these suckers. I do have an audiobook because the audiobooks are so good. So I'm going to slap the headphones on. We're going to get back to Howling Dark. Cue the montage. Howdy, folks. Oh, it's update time. Yeah, we're over halfway. I'm guessing that's roughly 60%. This is some of the most impressive science fiction I've ever read. This is book 2. This is book 2. So far, there's 6 books, and I think the 7th and final one is on the way at the end of the year. How is this already feeling like it's going to be one of my favorite series, like I'll ever read in my entire life? I am a huge Red Rising fan, and I've often heard, if you like Red Rising, you'll like Sun Eater. If you like Sun Eater, you'll like Red Rising. Having made it through pretty much a book and a half, I can already tell you that that comparison is so strange. Sure, they both have action and adventure aspects to them. Sure, they both are science fiction. Sure, they both have first-person narration. I just think it's not a fair comparison because they're two completely different sides of the field. Sun Eater feels more closely akin to Dune than it does Red Rising. This really paints the picture of how empty space is and where we are in this story. Vorgosos is the craziest freaking place I've ever heard of. A lot of people aren't saying how horrifying this is. This is a scary book. Like I said, that fetching guy? Holy crap. One of the best antagonists I think I've read about in a long time, and it's just getting started. I'm on chapter 45 on page 379, so I've got a ways to go, but honestly, I sit down to read this and I read 70 to 100 pages. The only thing that I think I'm not enjoying is how Hadrian seems to have these internal experiences that only he can either feel or see or hear, and the people that are most important to him that are like right there with him in the scene don't experience this, and it causes this kind of conflict in communication, or like he says, oh, did you see that? Did you hear that? Oh, I experienced this. And everyone goes, you're lying to me. Shut up. You're making me mad. I like how Rocchio's playing with the chosen one trope in this, but at the same time, it's like, man, just give him at least someone who believes him. Like, without question. I need somebody, just one character to go, okay, I get you, Hadrian. I'm there. I feel you. But really, that's my only complaint. Rambling aside, you want to see me get back to this book. And truth be told, I want to get back to this book. I did that poorly. Trucking our way through the... Oh gosh, come on, focus. Focus, you little dirty rotten scoundrel. The thing that I've wanted to happen since book 1 has finally happened. I'm just waiting for it to implode though. There's just a handful of characters that keep... They're good, they're not good. They're good, they're not good. And there's just a lot of, come on, will they, won't they crap going on. It finally happened. Oh man. And if you're curious, yeah, that guy is still causing problems. I love the world building of these freaking books. Gosh, I'm so stoked. I feel like the ending of this book is going to be crazy, bro. Page 503. I honestly have so much time. It is a rainy Saturday afternoon. The best kind of afternoon. It's still feeling like a 5-star, honestly. We're getting there. We will see by the end. I will give you my verdict then. Let's hit it. I finished. Howling Dark, Christopher Rocchio. Good Lord. Compose yourself, Ian. Compose yourself. I just finished this about 60 seconds ago. I had to rush to get the camera to give you this update. I am speechless. The most epic freaking science fiction that I've ever read. Dude, chosen one. Freaking unexplained mythical visions. Technology that's banned and outlawed, but yet it's used by the bad guys. There's also this alien race that the humans are struggling against, and of course, guess what? They freaking fetch it up. All this crap happens because of a misunderstanding, but it's actually done really well. And oh my goodness, can we just talk about the pros? This is right at the end of the book. Hadrian himself says, "We're not always the authors of our own stories. Some of us never are. I think this is what we struggle for. The command of our own lives. We struggle against our families, against the state, against nature, against our own weaknesses. All that we might choose for ourselves, if only for a moment, if only once." Everything happened in this book exactly how I wanted it to, plot twists included. You're probably asking me, Ian, is it a 5-star? No. Freaking darn near close. It's a 4.75. That's as close as I'm going to give it. Only reason that I'm not going to give it a full-on 5 stars is because there were several moments throughout the entire duration of the book where I was like, man, this is kind of dragging. And every single 5-star read that I can think of, I never feel that way. So Howling Dark was really close. I love it to death. It's one of my favorite science fiction books, but let me show you something. That could change because I have the rest of the series that's available currently on the shelf. And you better believe I'm getting a Demon in White real soon. But I think it's time we get on with the third title of this video. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Now, before anyone comes after me in the comments, I know some of the books that I have on this list before this book, the 2 books that I have after this book, I know some of you are gonna go, how fetching dare you compare this book to some of the other books that you've read? From what I've heard of this book, from what I heard of this series, from what I've heard of her writing, from what I've heard of the historical fiction and the characters and the stuff that happens in this, regardless, I hear is outstanding. Outlander's apparently outstanding. You don't know what you're missing out on until you try, right? I read the first chapter of this book in a used bookstore years ago and was just blown away at her ability to turn a phrase. She has the prose that I'm looking for. Plus, this was a gift from an amazing subscriber of this channel. Kimmy, if you're watching, what's up, girl? Thank you so much for sending me this because I have been eyeing this book for many, many years. Just the premise alone makes me think that this may have 5-star potential, okay? Historical fiction time travel? Shut your mouth. Say less to me. I'm all here for that trope. I am already 70 pages in, so there's that. I've been putting off reading this book for a couple of days because I knew I needed to update you all. And, well, I can wait no longer. Cue the montage, sit back and relax. Let's read Outlander. What's good, friends, family, and intimate reading associates? Gotta love it. Gotta love the embellishment, right? Outlander. What the fetch do I think, huh? I am currently 115 pages into this novel. First off the bat, the prose, of course, is exactly what I expected. It's grand, it's lyrical, it's beautiful. It's told from the POV of our main character, Claire Randall. Everything's from her point of view, and so we're only seeing one side to the story. Now, I'm not saying that she's an unreliable narrator, but there are some things about Claire that I'm kind of going, is she a red flag? I told you earlier that this was a time travel historical fiction. She goes back in time by accident 200 years. She goes from 1945 to 1743. What happens when she gets to 1743? There's so much that happens to this woman in the first 24 freaking hours that, of course, it would be a whirlwind. But now that the dust has settled, she's held up in this castle. So she's been here for quite some time. From what I can gather, I feel like where we're at in the story, I think she's been there for like at least 2 weeks. My big question is this. Well, I have two concerns for this woman. One, how have you not tried to attempt to tell anybody where you're from? Now, I get it, 1740 Scotland, there's still a little bit of paganism still running around throughout Europe. So, of course, I'd be scared to tell anybody, hey, I'm from the future. I'm sure that wouldn't go over too well. They'd probably think you're a witch and burn you at the stake. There is a level of like, you haven't even tried? And then my second big thing with Claire, she is blasted back 200 years into the past, and you've not thought about your husband once. I mean, that's a red flag. I know if I got blasted back 200 years, I'd be trying everything in my freaking power to try to get a message back to Ashlynn. I'd be thinking about her 24/7. Is she worried about me? Is she calling the police? Does she think that I just left? Does she think that I'm dead? Knowing my wife, I know her sweet, beautiful mind, she would be freaking out. So I'm thinking, you haven't thought about your husband once, Miss Claire? That is messed up. And there's already some internal like, this man is handsome, that man is handsome, this man is handsome. You haven't thought about him once? You haven't thought about poor Frank this whole time? It's a little upsetting, but I'm excited to see where it goes because now she's kind of settling into castle life. She's become the castle healer because she knows about medicinal herbs and whatnot, and she also was a nurse in World War II, so she kind of knows how to stitch up a wound. I really do like the character of Jamie. Of course, I knew he'd be the main fling, the fire, the love interest, right? From what I can gather, he's pretty straightforward with Claire. I love me some Miss Fitz, bro. She is awesome. I'm all here for Fitz. Colum Mackenzie, the Mackenzie. I don't know how to feel about him yet. I feel like he has decent intentions. I feel like he's a decent man, but I've just learned to not trust people in power in historical fiction because they always have ulterior motives. Other than that, that is my update and I'm sticking to it. I'm liking it so far. I find myself wanting to read it when I put it down, so that is a very good sign. Transition or roll the montage in, whatever you got going on behind the screen. What's going on with this book? Is Claire a moron? I hate every decision that this woman's made. She's been in 18th century Scotland for what? 2 months? Poor Frank, we have no idea what he's thinking. We have no idea how time actually works across this divide, but oh my gosh, she hasn't thought about this poor man once. Who doesn't think about their spouse when they get trapped back in time? I'm sure the whole thing that made this the smash hit that it is back in 1991 was, oh my gosh, the love interest. Oh my gosh, the love interest. It was so romantic. It was so amazing. Just the tension and the heat and the passion and everybody. I'm a sucker for a good romance, just like anybody else. I'm a sucker for it being done well. I'm also a sucker for propriety. Call me a prude all you want. I'm not squeamish when it comes to the sexual content, but here's the thing. She is married. I don't care that you're back in 1743 and your husband's in 1945. You are married. I don't ride or die for Claire or for Jamie. This doesn't make any sense. I'm 200 pages deep. Over 200 pages! But please, somebody tell me in the comments, does Claire start making good decisions? Or is this all just like a, well, she's here, she's used to it, and she's just gonna do whatever she wants? I have no words. Roll the montage, I'll see you next week. Testing. Can you hear me? Good evening. Folks, it's been 2 weeks. The time has flown. I can't remember. I know I didn't give you much, because I think I only made it like halfway. I haven't looked at this footage in quite some time. What? To just say, if it seems like before this moment I was having trouble with this book, it's because I was. I was really having trouble, specifically with the character of Claire. I just have some troubles with her whole thought process and what goes on in her head and all of her motivations. There was a marriage. It didn't quite make sense why it needed to happen. I know they gave a decent reason, but in my mind I thought, that's lame. I think the big thing about this book that everybody freaks out over, everybody freaks out about the love interest. What a grand story of love. She's married in another time and another place. She's married 200 years in the future, and she goes back in time and falls in love with another man. I don't buy it. The ending of the book, though, I'm not gonna lie, it was a mad dash. It was a really solid finish. You know, the whole imprisonments and sacrifice myself for you and gunfire and swords and the great escapes. You know, I was there for that. I thought that was really well done. I felt like there was a lot of pointless secret keeping. The miscommunication was a blunder and a half. Will I be moving on to Dragonfly and Amber? Maybe. That's a definite maybe. As it stands right now, Outlander was not a 5-star. No, I think the thing that is 5 stars is the writing. Oh man, the writing was spectacular, beautiful, lyrical, exactly what I look for in prose. Characters. Oh, I feel like I liked other characters more than I liked Claire, and Claire's our first person narrator. I can't even tell you if I really liked Jamie or not. Overall, I think I give this book about a 3.75. Excellent start to a series, truly. I think the thing that makes this book so appealing to some is the reason why it didn't go 4 stars or above for me. But Kimmy, thank you for sending me this book. I can't thank you enough, because without you, this would have never happened. Shall I introduce you to the next book? Robert McCammon's Speaks the Nightbird. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm already pretty deep. I think this has 5-star potential because this is historical fiction horror with a heavy dose of mystery thriller thrown in there for good fun, right? This book is about a man named Matthew Corbett. He is the clerk of a traveling magistrate who travels around the Carolina colonies dispensing justice. It is the year 1699, and in a little town known as Fountain Royal, a woman is accused of witchcraft. Matthew and his mentor have to go to Fountain Royal to investigate, but apparently what they unearth is far more sinister, and an innocent woman might have been accused by mistake. Ooh. And there's also love story. I've had dealings with Mr. McCammon before. This is my 4th novel with Robert McCammon. I already know his flow. I already know the way he writes characters. And I think this is already my favorite book of his. And I'm only 114 pages in because the prose is so good. He makes you feel like this is almost like journal entries from 1699. And the characters speak so realistically for the time. It's one of those books that every time I put it down, I'm like, I think I could get one more chapter under my belt. And then I realize it's like 2:30 in the morning and I need my sleep. Let's hit it. So, I continued reading this book last night. We Met the Witch! I don't know what I was expecting with that first initial encounter with Miss Rachel Howarth, but it wasn't that. Robert McCammon can write a freaking scene, bro, that had all the elements of suspense and creepiness that I was expecting and not expecting at the same time. Because of the synopsis on the back, I don't know if the witch is truly the witch. But here's the crazy thing. Witch or not, that was the creepiest introduction to a character I've read in quite some time. The character of Rachel herself isn't scary, but the mystery around her is haunting. And there's so much to this little small colony that's just a lot's being hidden. This is the kind of suspense that I want thriller writers to use, but I feel like a lot of the thrillers that I've read lately don't come close to the level of mystery and suspense that Robert McCammon has given me in just the first 200 pages. Oh, it's going good. Can you tell? It's going great. So low. My wife's asleep in the other room, but we need to talk about something, okay? 283, cooking along, speaks the Nightbird. Can we talk about how fetching real this feels? Robert McCammon is nailing the superstition in this freaking community. I mean, they are so unhinged in their legalistic faith that they think everything and anything is a deception of the devil. I mean, for instance,
This woman is locked up for an accused crime, okay? They're saying, oh, she couldn't recite the Lord's Prayer, so therefore she's in league with Satan. Since when has that ever been a test of someone who's in league with demons? That's like the barbaric practice of, we're gonna tie you to a bundle of sticks, okay? We're gonna dip you in the river, and if you sink, you're innocent. But if you float, you're guilty, and then we're gonna hang him. We're gonna hang you in the tree over there. How is that even? Obviously, if they have air in their lungs, they're going to float. That obviously means the people that didn't float died anyway. That is not a clear-cut test whether somebody is in league with demons and practicing witchcraft. But Robert McCammon has his ways, bro. We just don't know the facts. But there is something going on. I've been rearing to go. I've been doing other projects in the meantime between this update. It's literally been like 2 weeks. I've been dying to get back to this, but I didn't feel like I could keep going with it. Now that that's done, I can binge this book again. Let's strap in.
Why did this have to happen? I finished Speaks to Nightbird by Robert McCammon. First half of this book was real good. Over half of this book was really, really good. I was intrigued. It was spooky. It was bone-chilling. It was suspenseful. It had all the makings of something absolutely wonderful. And then a certain particular scene happened. And I was warned about this scene. Somebody warned me that there was a scene that kind of leaves you going, what the fetch? And as that scene unfolded, I was thinking, what the fetch? Needless to say, something horribly disgusting happens. Unfortunately, is used as a plot device to further something intriguing, and it helps the story progress. I don't know, I really never recovered from that. You know, what I was really hoping for, the witch is innocent, she's not a witch, yay, we proved that she was innocent. But then I wanted something creepy and supernatural at work. And I got nothing. I didn't even get the freaking romance subplot that I wanted. The end of this book did not deliver on what I wanted. Now, granted, it's a good ending. It's a good ending. It's fine. What I thought was going to be this historical fiction horror thriller became more of a colonial courtroom drama. But when the back says, Judgment of the Witch, Evil Unveiled, where was this evil unveiled? It was human evil. It's not like I don't see that every day. I wanted something spooky. But all in all, Robert McCammon is still such a solid author, right? Is this book a 5-star? No. No, not with an ending like that. But I will say this. Overall, it is a 4-star. Really solid book. Because for the most part, I enjoyed it. The characters are pretty good. They're all pretty believable. There's enough conflict between them that makes everyone interesting. The plot is slow burn. If you can't take slow burn, then maybe this isn't the book for you. At times, the slow burn got a little too much. I wanted some things to be a little bit more exciting, so overall the plot was okay. But I think the thing that is 5 out of 5 for this book is the prose. The prose was absolutely magnificent. Probably McCammon's best. Kind of want to see what the rest of the series has in store because, yes, this is a series. The writing was spectacular. So overall, this was 4 stars. You're probably thinking, Ian, you said that there was 5 books at the beginning of this video. What's the 5th one? Yeah, we're not going to read the 5th one. I no longer have time for this video, but I will show you what I had in mind. This is going to hurt some of you. The 5th and final novel for this video was going to be John Steinbeck's East of Eden. Yeah. Yep, this is probably the most recommended book on this channel, period. Everybody wants me to read this book. And trust me, guys, I want to read this book. I really do. And I wanted to read it for this video. I had a feeling that this was going to be a 5-star, possibly a 6-star read, because of how everybody talks about it, how most people, when they read this, it becomes their favorite novel of all time. I wanted to really put that to the test in this video. But I have been on and off filming this video since April, and I'm tired, and I've ran out of time. There's other things that I need to give my mind and my attention to, and I need to pursue other projects because October's coming, and October is massive. And there's so many things in October that I have to pre-film, like right now. I have to put East of Eden off for yet another video. But I'm thinking there will be an end of the year mad dash to get the TBR for the year read, right? Most creators are gonna do that. I myself am gonna participate in that, and I think East of Eden will be the first book on that docket. I promise you that. You will get my thoughts on this novel by the end of 2025. But there's also something else that took my time. It's not just that I have things to do after this video, it's that I've done a lot before this video. Here's a picture. I finally completed the secret novels. If you're new to the channel, I've been reading a series of secret novels since the beginning of June, and I finally finished every single one of them. There's 16 novels in this picture. I have kept a lot from you this summer because I have one of the most exciting videos that I think I've ever created coming out at the beginning of October. The very first Saturday in the month of October, you will finally see what all of the hype around these secret novels has been. But that is the end of this video. Reading books I predict will be 5 stars. Friends, family, and intimate reading associates, let me know down in the comments if you want a sequel to this video, what books I should include. Maybe I might do reading books you predict will be 5 stars. I think that could be a really fun challenge. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your other intimate reading associates. But folks, I'm done. I'm signing out of here, and I will see you in the next one.